Internal Revenue Service IRS Tax News. IRS offers additional retail partners that accept cash payments for federal taxes. IR 2020-137, July 1st, 2020, Washington. The Internal Revenue Service today announced additional retail partners are accepting cash payments for federal taxes. The cash payment option is for individual and business taxpayers. The IRS continuing partnership with ACI Worldwide's officialpayments.com. There's a link to that here, to the officialpayments.com, and the PayNearMe Company allows taxpayers to make a payment without a bank account or credit card at participating 7-Eleven stores, Ace Cash Express, and Casey's General stores nationwide. So they're providing more ways to pay them, which is nice. And it's a little bit unusual. Usually you can't really make a cash payment to the IRS, you wouldn't think, because you would have to send in basically a check. Used to be you'd have to send it a check. Right now they got the electronic payments, possibly a credit card, possibly pay by phone, in which case you would need a bank account of some sort in order to do that. And cash, you would also think it's kind of strange in that cash has no basically audit trail on it. But the IRS, I think they're getting a little concerned here that they may not get some payments after they've been pushing out the deadline. So they accept any type of payment right now. If you want to pay cash, you can pay cash. And they're going to use these two third parties to help them to do so, which is the officialpayments.com and the PayNearMe Company, in order to facilitate the cash payments or help them to facilitate the cash payment. And this is really a good thing in my opinion. I have had trouble in the past sometimes in actually paying the IRS. They tell me, they tell me or a client or someone, we owe them money in some way, and then you try to pay them and it's difficult. They make it difficult. So they're making it easier. They have more payment options to do so, and that is good. If you have to pay them, at least the payment process should be easy. So back to the text. Quote, "We continuously look for ways to enhance the services we provide for our taxpayers," end quote, said IRS Wage and Investment Division Commissioner Ken Corbin. Quote, "The IRS offers many ways for taxpayers to pay their tax bills, including direct debit, credit card, and through electronic funds withdrawal when filing electronically. This cash payment lets people pay their taxes without having to make an appointment at an IRS Taxpayer Assistance Center," end quote. So that would be the typical way. Usually, they're pushing for the electronic payment if you owe when you file the tax return, or in some other electronic form, typically, if you can. But if you want to pay with cash, then they're making it easier to do now without having to basically go to the Taxpayer Assistance Center, which, again, I think that is an improvement. So back to the text. Individuals wishing to take advantage of this payment option should visit irs.gov/payments. There's a link to that here. There'll be a link to this in the description. Select the cash option in the, quote, "other ways you can pay," end quote, section, and follow the instructions. There is a $1,000 payment limit per day and a $3.99 fee per payment. So if you want to look at this option to pay basically with cash, then you can go to the irs.gov/payments, and hopefully I would think that they would help you to find possibly a location that would be accepting the payment. That would be nice. And then go through the process that would typically be taking place for that payment option. That process looks like will include a limit or a cap on the amount of payment that can be made per day. So they're going to cap the payment of $1,000. So if you owe more than $1,000, only $1,000 a day to be paying off, and there's going to be a $3.99 per payment as well. Back to the text. Because PayNearMe involves a 3-step process, the IRS urges taxpayers choosing this option to start the process well ahead of the tax deadline to avoid interest and penalty charges. So in other words, obviously if you pay after the point in time that you owe, you might have penalties, including late payment penalties or late filing, usually late payment penalties, and then any interest will be accruing as well. So take into consideration the 3-step process that could take a little bit of time. And so you're going to want to start this process a little bit earlier than straight on the deadline in order to avoid potential penalties and interest. Back to the text. The IRS reminds individuals without the need to pay in cash that there are other ways to pay online, by phone, or with a mobile device, and the IRS To Go app, IRS Direct Pay. So these are other options. We have the link to the IRS To Go app here and IRS Direct Pay. These options are probably, the preferred options or the faster options. The electronic payments are really what they're pushing for with the IRS. They're kind of moving away from the paper checks. It's kind of funny. The paper checks used to be the standard. That might be the way that is least favorable to the IRS at this point in time because of the social distancing. If you send them a paper check, it might take them longer to process it. It's kind of funny that they might process the actual cash faster, even though it's cash. They're sending cash in because they're being processed through these third parties. So it actually might take less time to process the cash, given the third party companies are helping with the processing. That's what they do. And if you send in the paper check, then that might be the slowest way to go. But if you do these other electronic options, there's many other electronic options, and that's what they're kind of pushing forward to go to. Back to the text. This is a secure online payment option that allows taxpayers to pay directly from their bank accounts for free. And this would be the free option. They don't have that charge from the IRS for these, which is nice. The IRS has been partnering with official payments since 1999 for taxpayers wanting to use a credit card to pay their taxes. So you may be able to use the credit card there as well. You should basically be able to use the credit card as well. However, when you use the credit card, the IRS doesn't typically charge you for a fee for it. I believe they don't charge you for the IRS, but the third-party credit card payment, like with the cash payment, probably will. So you might have a fee, but not from the IRS, but from the third party. If you use the credit card, if you use the electronic payments, no fee. Back to the text. The IRS reminds individuals to watch out for email schemes. Taxpayers will only receive an email from officialpayments.com or PayNearMe if they have initiated the payment process. So remember that the IRS themselves don't typically give emails requesting. They don't give emails requesting personal information or having links that you're going to have to go to within the email. The IRS themselves usually uses the slow, just mailbox mail for the correspondence and then communication directly with them from there. And you can usually communicate by going to the IRS website directly. If you're going to be doing this payment process online, then you're not going to get an email from it about the payment process before you start the process. If you get that, it's probably spam if they're asking for information. After you start the process, once you know exactly what the process is, then you can expect the email that you would be receiving from these third parties working with the IRS, those being the officialpayment.com or the PayNearMe, and then you can go through the process from there, understanding or seeing as it follows through the steps that you would expect.